Hello, everyone. I'm coming to you because um, Christianity has been helpful in many ways to us, but it leaves out a lot of the truth. And I believe, especially for African Americans, that knowing this truth will help us move to that place of peace and self love that has, in many ways, been preventing us from achieving in this life due to the actions of others. Uh, Religion has helped us in many ways in the past. So I am coming back to it because I believe spirituality and knowing these truths will ultimately be what frees our young black men, or men of color in particular, from many of the problems that keep them down and keep them from becoming productive citizens of society, outside of the obstacles that um, racism and discrimination put in place. So, a little bit about me. My name is Gina, and I am psychic. So I've had many experiences that cannot be explained um, by Christianity, and so I've had to search and research in other places to help get answers to the many questions that I have. And um, my main desire, objective, is to help people to heal from dysfunctional behavior from themselves and others that has dimmed their light from living fully loving relationships towards themselves and others. So let us begin. And the way I'm structuring this is that I will present short lessons, one to be built on to the next, so that you will have time to go and do your own research and reading. Um, but I want to give background to help explain what will be coming next. So, lesson one, your spirit lives on. You will never die. I mean that we each consist of a spirit in a physical body while on earth. It is the same as if you're putting clothes on your body. After, at the end of the day, you take those clothes off, but you still have your body. Your body is still there. So we are each born, our spirit is born into a body, and we live out that lifetime. And when that body can no longer sustain us, it dies, and our spirit leaves that body and returns to the spirit realm, only to later prepare to reincarnate at a later time. Okay? So our spirit never dies. Now, the personality, yes. With each new incarnation or life, we come in as an infant. So we come in under different conditions, raised by different parents. So we develop different personalities, and we bring in many of the things that we learned in a prior lifetime. So our personality does not go on to the next life. the personality changes, but it still carries forward some of its qualities from previous lifetimes. So you just do not have memory of this since you are made to forget your previous lives, since your full attention is needed for your current one. Each of us comes into this lifetime with lessons to learn and things to do. Each of us is born with things we are to accomplish in our lifetime. You can find out better what those things are by using numerology, astrology, um, talking with psychics, things like that. You can find out more of like why you are here. Why were you born this time around? Let's see here. And then another thing to prove that you live on after you die is that there are mediums who help you to communicate with your deceased loved ones. I've communicated with my great grandmother and my grandmother and my father. Um, and so, and then again, like I say, I'm psychic, so there are many things that I know and I experience. So I speak from what I have personally experienced as well. So what you do and say in each life affects your future lives. The best way to have a happy life is to learn to love yourself and your neighbor. The easiest definition for love that I can give is being kind to yourself and being kind to others. And that's the easiest, quickest way to show love. Okay? Now, with that kindness, you also need to be assertive because we know that there are people out here who will try to take advantage of you, who will mistreat you and try to abuse you. And that's where being assertive comes in. And if you don't know what assertiveness is, then you can use the various media we have available to look that up and learn how to be assertive. Assertive is basically standing, protecting your boundaries. For example, a boundary may be you cannot yell at me if you wish to communicate with me. So if a person is talking to you and they raise their voice and start yelling, you become assertive and say, oh, wait, nope, can't do that. My boundary is if you want to speak to me, you have to speak to me without yelling at me. That's assertiveness. And as you can see, you're also being kind to yourself and to them. You put them in check, or, you put up your boundary without being abusive in return. You don't have to yell back at them. So assertiveness is also a form of being loving to yourself and the other person. It protects you, it helps you, and it also gives that person an opportunity to learn and grow and do better. Okay? So by being kind and assertive, you always put yourself in the best position. Now, and I will speak on, in my next lesson, I will speak on suffering and why we have it. But I will say this, even though we may be suffering, it's still important to be kind and assertive, even during our suffering, because we are living for the best outcome. So learn assertiveness if you need to learn it. When you do wrong, apologize and make amends. That's a kind, caring, assertive act. Okay? Now, I know there may be times you may not want to just go to a person and say, hey, I stole your bike. I'm sorry. Because that person may get angry and may want to fight you or may want to press charges. I understand that. So what you could do, you could just write a letter and keep it anonymous, and say, hey, I apologize, I took your bike, but here's your bike or you will find your bike. You don't have to let them know who you are. but you are responsible for correcting. Because why? So you need to do both. You need to apologize, but also make amends. Try to put the person back in the position they were before you did what you did that caused them harm. And in this case, you return their bicycle to them, or you get them a new one if you can't return their bicycle. That's called making amends, making things right again. Um, Always know that God knows your every thought and deed. You cannot hide anything from God. You can hide things from people. Very few people can read minds, so they rarely know what your true thoughts are. But God always knows your true thoughts and your intentions, and God knows what you do in the dark. So when it comes time to be born again, all of that stuff is going to factor into what you're born into and the type of life that you will have. So, really, it is you who uh, hurt or help yourself through your own actions, thoughts, and beliefs, not God. But I'm going to talk more about that because we have to go through a process of learning. There's a process of learning. Where we have to grow out of doing negative things, where we have to learn that, okay, yeah, this does not benefit me. I don't want this. I've tried this. I've had, because we are all like, just like infants. How babies are born and how they will put their hands on everything and try to eat, put everything in their mouth. And, they would just do any and everything because they don't know better, right? And what happens? They have to be taught. Okay, so each of us, we go through life where we have to try things out and put things, do things. And some of those things are going to hurt us, and some of those things are going to help us. And it behooves us to learn as quickly as possible what hurts us and what does not help us so that we can stop. But I will go further in depth into that, okay, in future lessons. So just know that everything you think and do will count towards the quality of your future lives. And that's why it's to your benefit to do things out of love and assertiveness. Okay, assertiveness protects you from the abuses and mistreatments and people who do and say bad things towards you. So learn to be assertive. Um, to be assertive. So the main lessons is when your body dies, remember that you go back into the spirit realm and you will return again to another life. This is not your only life. So that's why it's important to not make money your God or material things your God, because those are not the things that are going to go with you or return with you when you come back. It is going to be what you build up in character.